the partners of Solarian Games.
I'm Jason.
And I am Peter. And this week, we're going to be talking about HBGCon, which is July 11th. Tabletop creators push back against AI at UK Games Expo 2026. Wizards of the Coast is hiring a senior AI engineer for customer-facing features. There's a new game, weave together a D&D character with tarot cards using this homebrew tool. Oh, it's a homebrew tool, not a game. I get it. Okay. And The Wire meets The Shire in the Mary Shire Detective Club. That's crafty.
That's crafty. All right. So first little story is something coming up pretty soon. It's a mini con. The House of Books and Games Con, HBG, happens a couple times a year, and it's coming up again. We love it. We're big fans of the store, House of Books and Games. So if you're in Connecticut, they're open on weekends up in Windsor or East Windsor. I get confused about those places. But HBG Con is a little mini con that's happening at the Lupoletto. I think that's how you say it. Looks like that's how you say it. The Lupoletto Brewing Company. They've just opened a new location in East Granby, so it's moving to their bigger location. It's a pretty small con, and I actually wanted to grab something to show what I'm going to be running. So let's see if my headphones can reach. Oh my gosh, this audio is terrible. Where is he? He's nowhere near his microphone. Get back to your microphone, Jason. Okay, I'm back at my microphone. I don't prepare for these things at all. So there's like 16 games going to be at it. I'm going to be running a game that I have not taken out of the shrink wrap yet called Crime Fighter. So it's my chance. I'm going to have to do an unboxing video or something on this first, because this is a game by Task Force Games. I've never been able to find a PDF of it for sale or anything like that. And I can't find an open box. It's hard to even find a copy for sale. So I guess I'm going to have to open my shrink-wrapped copy. I'm going to be using it to run sort of a 70s police show kind of thing, somewhere kind of halfway between Starsky and Hutch and Streets of San Francisco, maybe with a little bit of the Sweeney thrown in. And okay. And also, yes, at HBG Con, whoops, Chet Minton will be there, so that'll be a lot of fun. We're gonna have a good time. Just some of the games are going to be getting played that day. Dick Wizards, which is detectives, because you're a dick, you're a detective. Yeah. Dick Wizards. Draw Steel, which is a really fun, fast fighting game. Magical Kitties Save the Day. Root, Enclave, Heroescape, G.I. Joe, Star Trek. Nice. The One Ring, My Little Pony, Vaesen, The Bloody Hand, Shore of Morkilla, NOC offs, knockoffs, I get it, NOC offs, which is washed up spies chasing the paranormal, which sounds pretty fun. Oh, that's awesome. It's going to be a fun day. I'm going to get a chance to run some stuff I've never run before. Come on out, go to tabletop events, look for HBG Con, and come play with play some games with us.
That's awesome. That sounds like a lot of fun. And we've had them on the show before. They're good people.
So. Yeah, we should get them back on. We love Bert and Amy, and they were at our ModCon, which we really appreciate. And nice. They've always been supporters of ours, and we support them.
Yeah. All right. So our next story, not as fun. Tabletop creators push back against AI at UK Games Expo. So. This is one of those instances where the community is coming together and they're pushing, the people running events and doing things, to hear their voices. And they're saying that, so tabletop creators and independent designers have pushed back against Gen AI at the UK Games Expo. Basically, the artists and the vendors at the event heavily criticized the convention for remaining completely silent. So they're not promoting AI and they're not saying, hey, it's cool. They're just not saying anything.
Right. Silence is consent.
Yeah. Marking
no, that's not a phrase.
What?
I don't know what that's from.
No, I know what you meant.
Silence is violence.
No, I don't believe that. But
I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying words.
But anyway, there's a lot of other conventions that are actually making, very strict policies, like Page did it, Dragon Meet, Dragon Con, which is humongous. They've all come out and said, nope, zero tolerance on that, outright bans on it. So here's the demands that have come, demands and responses to that.
Okay.
There are human-made, quote unquote human-made, because that's the text that's on the sign. Human-made signs. Numerous independent vendors explicitly displaying signs to demonstrate their commitment to real artists. A call for clear policy. Creators and attendees heavily criticized UKGE leadership for lacking clear, binding anti-generative AI policies. And then the panels. So industry professionals, including Modifius Entertainment's lead game designer, Evie Moriarty, hosted a panel addressing how generative AI acts as a force multiplier for the worst aspects of the hobby.
That's a really good way to put it, because it is a force multiplier, and being a force multiplier is a neutral concept. It's what do you do with your force multiplier?
Yeah, it can be bad, can be good, but
yeah. So for example, I was talking with a bunch of people at a little tech meetup recently, talking with engineers who are using AI coding tools to be a force multiplier for themselves. They're saying, look, I know how to do this thing. It's just a waste of my time. I just let Claude Code do it for me. Or even UX people who are saying, look, when I build a design system, I got to do all these tokens and all this crap. It's just a huge amount of time. I'm not getting anything out of it. I'm not hiring another person to do it. It's not creatively fulfilling. It's just drudgery. I've got a force multiplier that lets me go faster. Cool. Then you get somebody else who says, like you said, oh, here's the most horrible people that are just using it because they don't want to work with anybody else.
Right.
Or whatever the reason is. And so, yeah, the idea of a force multiplier is neutral. It's what do you do with it?
Right. And like for coding and stuff, if you are a coder and you're going to be coding it yourself and you have it do the bulk of the work and then you go through and just make sure that the code is good, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I think most coders that I know that are starting to use it or that have been using it for a while, they're developing this attitude where they still don't use it for a lot of things because you have to keep your skills up. You can't let your skills rust. But it doesn't mean that you have to do the ridiculous drudgery that doesn't add anything to your skills.
Like I'll tell you, there's been a couple times where I'm like doing Excel stuff at work, and there's like a formula I'm trying to figure out. For some reason, I cannot seem to get the parentheses or I know what the formula is. I know what goes into it. I know all the pieces for the what I'm trying to get it to calculate, but for some reason I can't get. It's like be like an if then type of situation. Match view match, and I'm like trying to find. I'm like, God damn it, what am I getting wrong? And I'll just say, look, just give me this. And then it gives it to me. I was like, oh, that's where the comma was supposed to go.
Yeah. I mean, I basically have always done the same sort of thing by going on to Slashdot or some forum, Quora or whatever, saying like, help me with this formula. So, I'm asking somebody else to help me because you're right. With Excel, those things can be really powerful, but you can screw the whole thing up with one parentheses.
Yeah. Or a lack of a parentheses, just seriously. So I was like, oh, that's how you do it. Yeah.
But that's very different from what these guys are talking about.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so the backlash at UK Game Expo reflects a wider escalating conflict within the tabletop space. Yeah, it seems to be growing. Massive publishers like Games Workshop instituted complete bans on generative AI with their design process, and peer conventions like Tabletop Scotland mirrored strict anti-AI stances. The whole thing of AI slop continues to slip onto card and RPG stands, threatening here's the quote, threatening the livelihood of working human creators.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing about the tabletop gaming and the board gaming hobby is it's as much a creative hobby as it is a consuming hobby. The people who play the games, a lot of them are making this stuff too. We don't want to take that away.
Right. Yep. All right.
Well, going down a similar path, we now have Wizards of the Coast is hiring a senior AI engineer for customer-facing features. So there's been a lot of talk about this one. I've seen a lot of Reddit posts and Facebook posts and Instagram and people making YouTube videos about it. Some more factual than others, some more speculative, some more clickbaity than others, but all in all, kind of honing in on this. Hang on a second, Wizards. You said that you were never going to use any AI. And then we saw that Hasbro was doing a few things, but that's okay. That's Hasbro. That's not Wizards. And now it's sneaking into Wizards. And like you said last week, D&D doesn't hire anybody. Wizards does, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, the D&D team, I might refer to that as like a shortcut. But so the first thing they're doing here is they're hiring a senior AI engineer, quote, to design and build agentic architectures for both internal and customer-facing features, such as tutorials and NPC behaviors.
What does that mean in human talk?
Well, okay, agentic architectures means that rather than just having an AI that does something when you ask it to, agentic AI can actually go out and act on its own. It can perform tasks. So you might actually tell agentic AI to regularly monitor a particular website or go and interact with a whole bunch of different APIs and come back and tell you later what it finished rather than telling it step by step. It becomes your agent.
Right.
And again, agentic AI, there's not anything inherently bad about that. We've been kind of going towards the idea of intelligent agents in the computer industry almost since the dawn of time. This has always been the goal. There was a great, if you look up on YouTube, look for Douglas Adams and Tom Baker, Hyperland. It's a beautiful vision that they did. They made a video in like the mid 80s talking about what could hypertext do, you know, because there was no web yet. There was just these early ideas of hypertext. And they expanded it all the way to what would happen when we had an intelligent agent that could do things for you. And Tom Baker played the intelligent agent. You know, the visions for it are really interesting. You know, the idea of being able to say, send my agent off to do things for me, go shopping, pay my bills, all whatever, right? That's interesting. So just the fact that they're doing agentic AI for something like tutorials, maybe that's not so bad. You know, if they're going to have something that a potential player says, I want to learn how to do some things in D&D, and if you have an AI agent that can help you learn that, that could be kind of cool. So I'm going to give them some credit there. But here's the thing. They're not stopping there, not for a moment. And one of the things we've heard about is they're talking about NPC behaviors. We already saw in a previous discussion that they want to sell to other companies these like NPC behaviors so that they can put one of their characters, so they can put, I don't know, Mordenkainen in an ad and it's going to be somehow interactive and whatever, right?
Okay.
And now they're saying NPC behaviors. What this is all leading towards is, I've been reading more beyond just this story. Wizards is looking at their business model. This is what's being reported. I don't have firsthand information on this. This is all other people's reporting that I'm repeating. But they're basically, from what I've heard, they're looking at their business model and saying, most of our money comes from the GMs. They buy all the books, they run the thing. The players don't spend that much money. We want to monetize our players. We want everybody giving us money. And D&D Beyond is so central to their business model. I mean, think about it. Everybody's had this discussion at one point or another, if you've been playing games long enough, that if you want to play Dungeons & Dragons or any game, what do you need? You need a rule book, dice, paper, and your imagination. You're done. You don't have to give them any more money.
That's correct.
So how does a business stay in business when they don't need to sell, when people don't need to buy anything? They need to convince people that they do have to. And the world is going towards subscriptions. So at least the business world, because it's nice to get money out of people's pocket every single month. So D&D Beyond, that's a subscription. They want the players in there. And so they've been doing things so far, creating character creators and journals, and your whole thing is in there, and you're playing the game and you're looking up the spells as you go. You're not even looking at the books anymore. You're looking at your subscription. But they want to hook people in even more. And one of the most nefarious and scary things that I've heard reported on is that they're working on AI dungeon masters.
Ugh.
They
What the
are.
fuck? What is the point? Come on, what's the point? Why are you playing? If you what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the whole point of this is you're playing with other people. And they're trying to get it to a point where people are going to pay them a subscription every month to get into D&D Beyond, and maybe it'll be kind of hard to tell the difference between a tabletop RPG and a video game. I'm sure there's an executive who's just excited in ways that I don't want to describe, to do that. And there's probably people who have never played this before who think that sounds great. Good. I don't have to have friends anymore. I don't have to have human contact. I can finally be a troll living in a tiny corner of my basement, never seeing the sun again.
No, the whole point, look, there is a good reason for, and don't take this the wrong way. Hear me out. Let me finish.
God.
No.
What?
No.
Do I need a disclaimer?
No. I'm just saying that
opinions of Peter are Peter's opinions.
Right. Just hear me out. I have good intentions with this. The feeling, like when you have a bad feeling about something, right? That's usually something that you need to grab onto and go, okay, I need to fix this. This is like, I'm feeling bad about this because I can fix it. Yeah. So if you're feeling lonely because you're not gaming with people, that should be a driver to get you to go game with people.
Yeah.
Don't enable people to just sit in their basement by themselves all the time. That's horrible for humans. Yeah. Like I personally, I don't know. I'm not a scientist, I'm not a neurologist or anything like that, but I will say, I have lived 56 years and have plenty of friends and seen plenty of people. And I will say that as far as I can tell from every interaction I've ever had with people, that interaction with real human beings is good for the person.
If you want to get more depressed, stay away from people.
Yeah.
And that's the sad
you don't have to
thing.
You don't have to be an extrovert. I'm not saying you have to hang out with hundreds of people and be that person who walks. No, but like a couple of friends is enough. Like you need to have some friends. Yes.
Even introverts suffer when you keep them alone for too long.
It's not
look what happened during the pandemic. We had to stay home because we would have died. You know, there's an airborne virus that we don't know how to stop and it's killing people. So yeah, you have to stay home, but that had really tough effects on people's mental health.
Oh, it crushed me. It was horrible for me.
Yeah. You've got to make a decision. Do you have bad mental health or do you just die? So it's, it's a hard decision, but that doesn't mean that the mental health problems weren't very real.
Yeah.
And, we got to get out there and get with other people. And I guess we're just at a point right now where maybe this is nothing new. Maybe this is how it's always been, but I just feel that we're at a point where the idea of building products that people love, that make their lives better, is kind of over. Now it's just about how do we get the most money out of their pockets.
Yeah.
And that's a shame. So,
and this whole model, I just saw something today that kind of reminds me of like this subscription model, like the biggest flaw in the subscription model.
Yeah.
Apparently PlayStation, I didn't know this. I have a PlayStation and I have the service, but I didn't know that you could buy movies on it. Right.
Oh,
maybe I should have known that, but whatever.
Okay.
But apparently they lost their license for a bunch of these movies. So these movies, and these aren't movies that you can just watch because you have a subscription. Mm-hmm. These are movies that you buy. Well, people now won't have the movies that they bought because PlayStation lost the license. So you bought this thing and now
you think you bought this thing.
You think you bought it. Right. And
yeah.
So that's one of the things that we really need to be careful of, because I think we're going to start seeing a lot more of that as things go on. This flaw is going to start popping up all over.
Oh, yeah. No, it already is. People are seeing books disappear from their Audible accounts or their Kindle accounts. They're even seeing Amazon go in and edit people's books that they already own, usually at the behest of the author who says, I wanted to fix a typo, or he does sort of, maybe they'll do like a George Lucas thing where they go in and I'm with you on this. I think once you buy something, it's yours. When you create something and put it out in the world, as the creator, you no longer own that. You do not have an ethical or a moral right to go and reach into somebody's house and change what they bought, whether that means editing it or taking it away.
You can offer it, and if they're like, yes, I would like that, then that's cool.
Yeah. Do you want the new version?
Yes.
Take Hardy Boys books. So early versions of the Hardy Boys books contained a lot of stuff that really would not be appropriate to show kids today. Some
Hmm.
of it was a little too violent, some of it was racist, some of it was sexist. There was things that shouldn't be published today. And shouldn't have been back then either, but you know. So sometime in the 70s or the 80s, they put out new versions of them, and they changed that. That's
Hmm.
their right. If you wanted that new version, you bought the new version. You know, I
Right.
want my kids to read a more wholesome version. Give them this. The
Right.
old versions are still out there. I have them on my shelf because I'm interested in historical preservation. I think it's important that we look back at history and say this is what was said,
Right.
because you know we can't live in some Orwellian world of constantly changing history.
Correct.
So, I mean, I am so excited. I just bought this at a estate sale. 50 sci-fi classics.
Oh, nice.
It's 50 movies, 12 DVDs, The Incredible Petrified World starring John Carradine, She Gods of Shark Reef, The Amazing Transparent. I mean, I've never even heard of half of these. I
You're
mean,
fine.
if they were on a streaming service, they'd be gone in a month. I'd never get to see them again.
Right.
You need to own things, people. But the good news, well, not the good news. I'm going to try to put a positive spin on this D&D thing, and that is, you as a player don't have to use D&D Beyond.
You don't.
Nobody is making you do it. And if you bought your D&D books, they can't take them away from you. If you have physical books in your house, they can't send the Pinkertons to come get them.
Well, we
I know
don't
they sent the
know
Pinkertons to
totally
get
about
somebody.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know, right? But for the moment, we still have property rights in America. And
Right.
at the moment, once you buy a physical book, it is yours. So, you know, what I would just say is if you love playing Dungeons and Dragons, what I'd really say is don't play D&D. Go play a better game. Go
Yeah.
play a game made by a small creator who puts all their love and work into it.
Right.
And
Like this top secret game I've heard of.
play Top Secret, play Shadow Dark, you know, play
Yeah.
Morkborg, play Weird Heroes of Public Access, play these games. But if you love D&D, and there's nothing wrong with it, I love some versions of D&D, play the version you love. Don't worry about what they get up to. Let them bury themselves in digital subscriptions and AI slop, and just turn your back on them. We still have the right to vote with our wallets
We do.
for now.
We do.
For
Yes.
now. So far, someday some weird totalitarian in the future is going to force us to buy something from people. But for right now, we're still allowed to do it. So
Or you could be crazy like Jason and I and make up your own games.
just make up your own games. You can do
You
it.
could do that,
Nobody's
yeah.
stopping you.
Right.
All right.
All right. Enough on that.
Let's do cool stuff.
Cool stuff. These next two stories are fun. So there's this homebrew rules for using tarot cards to play D&D.
Now, first of all, I love this because this is something that James Carpio was working on with Witchlight. And James and Mary were building a tarot card system. So I love to see whenever these things happen.
Yeah. So it's basically this is how it works. You can instantly generate, flesh out rich D&D character backstories and personality traits by using a web-based browser, a homebrew tool called FateWeave. It's created specifically to blend tarot imagery with tabletop role playing. It lets you draw cards and spark inspiration for your character's lore.
Cool.
So basically, this is how it works. So you draw a 3 to 6 card spread on the platform, and the cards serve as your character's creative seeds.
Ooh.
The tool then provides flip over descriptions that explain how the cards tie into D&D, giving you immediate hooks for your character's alignment, flaws, and motivations. So here's some of the things. You can use the drawn cards to determine how your character acts, reacts, rather than focusing solely on stats. So there's reversed cards. If you draw a card upside down, this is reversed in tarot.
Okay.
This typically represents a blockage, hesitation, or a past trauma related to the card's theme. And then there's personality quirks. If you draw a card like the Lovers, often suggesting a fear of connection, or a queen. The queen,
It's reversed.
if it's reversed, yes.
Okay.
The Queen of Swords values order. You can immediately role play how this affects your adventurer's interactions with the rest of the party.
Oh, I love
Now,
this.
so here's
Already I love this because, you're drawing your tarot cards in real life and you're kind of
mhm.
learning things about yourself. So they're just translating that to learn about your character.
Right, and it's not. I don't think it's really strict. It's probably interpretive. So like whenever you get that statement, you can go, okay, let me think what that means
Well,
for
sure.
my
Yeah.
character the way I want to do it.
Yeah.
So here's some cool quirks I found. So the fool, you constantly touch or check your pockets to make sure you haven't lost your gold. The tower, you refuse to sleep on the top floor of an inn because you fear collapse.
Ooh.
The hermit, you instinctively whisper your thoughts out loud when trying to solve a puzzle.
Oh, I like this.
Yeah, yeah. Here's two more. The magician, you always roll up your sleeves before speaking to someone important. Let me tell you something. It's one of the things I've noticed.
It's the Howard Dean card.
So, yeah. So have you ever noticed there are some people who, whenever they've got something important to say, they grab their belt and they like kind of pull their pants up a little bit, like
Yeah, I want
you
to
know what I
start
mean?
doing that.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna
like,
I'm gonna force myself to do that.
and then the
Lou
last,
Grant used to always do that on the Lou Grant show.
yeah, I bet, yeah. So then the last one I had here was the three of swords. You never sit with your back to a door or an open window.
Right? Yep. Yep.
Yep, yep. And then there's some twists. So once your character is built, Fate Weave allows you to draw single cards during active sessions to help decide how your character reacts to unexpected events or moral dilemmas. So pretty cool.
Great. I love that. Because it is when you role playing, sometimes it's easy to fall into a trap of playing your character the way you would do something as opposed to how they
Mhm.
would do it. And this maybe is a nice little tool to boost your role playing
Yeah.
as well.
So it's funny because I'm playing in a campaign with Will like every other Wednesday. It's something I'm trying out this thing with him and playing
Uh-huh.
with another group of people just because it's fun to like have some time with a different group that you're
You
playing with.
slut.
I know. Um, but the character I'm playing is so not like me or any other characters I play. I decided I was going to play this kind of somewhat cocky, tough guy who always, kind of like talks bad and talks about, being able to do things he can't do.
Hmm.
And it's funny because when I'm playing him, I'm always like at the after thing is like, that's not really what I would do. I'm just my character. Just so you
Yeah.
know, I'm not being a dick. My character's a dick. Right. So
Yeah,
kind of fun.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. I try to play characters that are different from my personality, but like I said, it's hard sometimes. Your own personality kind of sneaks in when you're playing long enough.
Mhm.
You're not an actor with a script. You don't have a director standing over your shoulder going, hold on, you're out of character."
Damn, in our regular campaign, we're playing Cyberpunk, and all the other guys have been able to like get into Cyberpunk, whereas like they're just like kill people willy nilly and stuff. It's like, hey, we're here for the money and do the job, and I'm still having a hard time getting my character to do that, even though that's the character I wanted to play. So yeah,
Hmm.
that does because like there's been two times where I've gotten myself screwed because I didn't just smoke somebody. I was just like, no, go ahead, get out of here, and
Hmm.
then like that turned on me, and I was like, God damn, I should have killed that guy.
Yeah, a lot of times I like to play characters that have some sort of flaw that I don't have, or that are very shy because I'm not a shy person, or I like to try to play the opposite of my character. It's fun of my
Yeah.
sense. So it's
Yes.
fun.
Yep.
Well, this is a cool tool. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to giving it a try.
And I think it's completely free, right?
Sure.
Yeah, I don't, I don't know. I can't
I don't
remember.
know.
All right, anyway.
Probably. If it's not, if it costs $5, pay the $5. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. So this is pretty cool. I'm excited about this. A game that has been in development and being talked about for quite some time now is finally on BackerKit. It is called the Maryshire Detective Club. And now we said The Wire meets the Shire, but it's actually a lot less gritty than that. It is it's a game set in the Shire. I don't know how much they're able to actually say anything Tolkien, within this, but it's basically set in the Shire. And
Hmm.
I did notice right off the bat that the cartography is by our friend Jog
No,
Brogson.
that's awesome.
This beautiful map that we're looking at. This is what is so great about Jog's cartography style. You see top-down maps, you see isometric maps, but what he's done, it's a bird's eye view.
Hmm.
It's what you would see if you were flying over the village. It's just beautiful, and it fits the theme so well. I shot Jog a little Discord. I know he's asleep right now. It's whatever time in the morning in Ireland, but
Mm-hmm.
hopefully we can get him and Gareth to come on the show sometime soon to talk about this. But let's talk about what this is. All right. So this is, oh my God. Oh, all right. Hold on. I got to put this on the stream. Chet Mordor She Wrote.
Oh, that's awesome.
That is so good. And
That's a good one, Chet.
and it's right. That is the kind of thing this is. This is have you ever heard of the phrase cozy crime?
No, I haven't.
It's a genre. It's a genre, and Agatha Christie is that. Murder She Wrote is that. One of
Okay.
my favorite shows, Midsummer Murders,
Hmm.
is like that, or Inspector Morse. It's these shows where there's a murder of the week, and it happens in some little village, and there's maybe a village pastor that's involved, or there's some either incredibly bright detective or some bumbling detective or some detective that you would think is bumbling but is secretly incredibly bright.
Like Columbo.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Columbo kind of fits into the cozy crime because you're not watching these to be scared of
Right.
the crime. You're
Yeah, it's
watching
not
this
it's
to,
not all bloody, and there's not like the criminal doesn't come flying out with a gun shooting at the protagonist.
yeah, Columbo's not doing cop rolls over the hood and smoking.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he does smoke a cigar or something. But
I think he
anyway,
smokes, but yeah.
or whatever. He's anyway. So it's that cozy crime kind of thing, or like Inspector Morse. And in this, all the characters that you're playing are amateur sleuths. They're not professional detectives. They have other things they do. They kind of do their best, but they're still better than the lazy constable. Yeah,
Hmm.
Simon Harding's at Midsummer Murders, which again, so good. I think it's on like its 39th season or something. I don't even know. It's been on as long as television has existed and probably will always be forever. So I did get a copy of the preview of the book. So the final book isn't out yet, but I was able to read through the preview. I loved it. One of the quotes at the beginning was, "Think Agatha Christie bumping into P.G. Woodhouse and mistaking him for J.R.R. Tolkien." And I was like, "Oh, that's so good. That's so good." So in this setting, the players are solving murder mysteries, pastry theft rings, other petty conspiracies in this little halfling village called the Riding. So this is like the Shire, like Hobbiton, and in the Riding, you're protected. The Riding is protected by these entities that they just call them. Them keeps all the bad things away from the Shire. So
Mm,
in the larger world, you have the world of Middle Earth going on out there with all the evil and the magic and the danger and the wars. But
right.
the writing is protected by them. And them are, well, they're elves. They are maybe small gods. I think maybe the Maiar. So the Maiar
Yeah.
from like
Hmm.
Gandalf and Saruman.
Right.
They're out there protecting it, and magic is actually forbidden in the writing. So when you're going to solve a mystery and it's a locked room mystery, you shouldn't go straight to the idea that somebody teleported into the room because
Right.
magic is forbidden. That doesn't mean magic can never ever happen. It just
Right.
means it's really rare. You shouldn't think of that first.
And if it does, that's a major clue, right? You can say,
Yeah,
"Oh, they were using magic." Well, that narrows it down.
yeah. And so so here's the thing. So clues, you just nailed it. So the system for the Maryshire Detective Club is Gumshoe. So that's an existing system.
Hmm.
If you played Gumshoe before, you're in the right place. The best way to sum up Gumshoe is if you ask the right question, you get a clue.
Mm,
So it's a lot more, and it's less about rolling on your ability scores and more about actually sleuthing. You do have some general abilities that you roll for. So the whole thing is a d6, a single d6 system. So the general abilities, things like sneaking, risky nonsense,
risk.
mischief, business, but business might be baking, for example. These are
Hmm.
general abilities, things you're trying to do. You do roll for those. But then you also have investigative activities like common sense or eavesdropping. You don't have to roll those. If you have the right ability and you use it in the right place, you'll get a clue. But the thing is, what does that clue mean?
Hmm.
So you're
Right.
not just, succeeding, you're actually solving a mystery. Which sounds like a huge amount of fun. Generally, I think I'm a little bit unclear on the character races. There's only four character races in this. There's not the big, wider Middle Earth. There's no orcs. There's no tr- what is it? Ents.
Trents.
I was gonna say treants, but ents.
They're
There's
ents.
none of
They're just
those.
ents. Yeah.
There's four races. I know you can play the halfling because
Right.
that seems to be the main thing. I'm not sure about the others, whether they're NPCs or whether you can play them, but there's halflings. There are dwarves because they're going to be dwarves, and they're very much Middle Earth dwarves. And then there is the puka, which are shapeshifters, kind of D&D druids maybe, but a little bit more leaning into the shapeshifting side. Think of like what was his name? Is it Bjorn or Beorn in The Hobbit, the one that can turn into a bear?
Oh God. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Beorn,
Yeah. Baron. Something like that. Yeah.
whatever, something like that. But puka are a lot more mischievous and fun and cute. They're not big scary bears.
Hmm.
And then there's also the what they call the spooky truth-seeking boggart, and that's basically Gollum.
Okay.
That's actually a whole race of creatures, the
Wait a minute.
golems.
But Gollum, as in like in his Gollum form,
Yeah.
not as in Smeagol form.
Well,
'Cause Smeagol
Smeagol
was
was
kind
a
of a
hobbit.
hobbit. Yeah. Yeah.
Smeagol was a
Okay.
hobbit
Well, I thought he
before
was
the
like a
ring.
cousin or like a cousin to the hobbits or something, or maybe I misread that.
Somebody who knows their Tolkien better than I do could correct me,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I
But whatever.
believe he was just a regular hobbit who snuck off, found the ring, killed somebody for it,
Right.
called it his birthday present, and was corrupted by the ring to
Right.
turn into the sort of creature. So in there's only going to be one Gollum.
Okay.
He's an individual who was corrupted, but they've created the Boggarts, and I think Boggart means something else. And Chet is saying that it is Bjorn, so thank you. Uh, so these are the different races that there are, and it's really not meant to be. I don't think this is meant to be something that you're going to run as a campaign for years and years. You're
Right.
kind of in the tradition of the cozy crime. It seems sort of episodic.
Mhm.
It reminds me a little bit of Kevin Borup's Smurfs game, actually.
Okay.
I could see some things that are like that, but it looks charming. It looks fun. It's fun to solve mysteries. It's fun to play in a Hobbit kind of universe, and I love the art. It's really warm and fun, and of course the cartography is perfect. So it's got like 20 days left on BackerKit. You can go and just search for the Maryshire Detective Club. I'm 100% getting these in hardback, and can't wait to play it.
So you look through this.
Yeah.
So tell me, it sounds like it would be a good game for, let's say you had a game night.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about like a role playing game night. You had like most like quote unquote normal people game night where you would play,
Okay.
board games or, whatever regular game you'd buy at the store.
Hmm.
Um, and let's say you showed up as a role player to this other person's game night and you're like, hey, I got a game I could bring. Would this be something that people could play who aren't really role players and still enjoy? Like,
I think you
I
could
think
get
it
them
would
into it
extend
pretty
out.
easy because
Yeah.
the actual mechanics look incredibly simple. You have a single d6 and you're only rolling it for some things. Most of the time, you're just solving the crimes. I
Right.
don't think anybody would have trouble as a player just following along with what you have to say.
Right. So if you had set up this really cool little puzzle, this little mystery that had happened, and you show up and it's like, just we'll resolve this in like 2 hours or whatever, and I could play it with anybody.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think one thing is you'd kind of have to help them understand the world a bit because
Hmm.
if you have somebody who's a board gamer who does never played a tabletop RPG, it's always going to be a little scary when you're out there with no structure underneath you and you have to, make things up as you go along. So I
Right.
think there's a bit of needing to help people understand what the world really is.
Right.
But that doesn't seem too hard. If you're a good storyteller, if you're good at introducing people to settings and things like that, I think you could do that.
And being able to just walk them through, like, don't worry about the rules when something comes up and you got to do something. I'll just tell you. So just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
then
it's
I think
really
it'd be
it's
cool.
really just on the GM to handle anything that gets into, looking at rules or tables. They do have
Just
fun tables. I was looking at one of the tables in here. There's one called Contents of Pockets. And so you roll 2d6 and it's not adding them together. It's like each one is the ones table and the tens table. So it rolls
right,
11 through 66.
right,
And some of the things that could be in a person's pockets include a mysterious key, a pocket knife, a daily newspaper, a library ticket,
right.
mushrooms,
Much.
suspicious gloves, So there are lots of fun little things like that in there too.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
cool. I was just gonna say this sounds like it'd be a good gateway game for people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's true. And I also think that if you're an incredibly experienced role player, you're going to get even more out of it because
Hmm.
you'll know how to really work with the system and the world that
Yep.
way.
Yep.
So, yeah, stumbled across it. Really glad that I did because it's now on my list of things I'm most looking forward to.
Cool. Very, very cool.
And I think we're
Well,
good for this week.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
There is so Analog Union. Make sure you go check out Analog Union if you're not a member yet. Our letter will come out on Tuesday. All these great indie authors and game designers and stuff contribute to this, and there's all kinds of good stuff. I mean, it's I don't know. Every week is just as good as the last.
Yeah, no, we love being a part of the Analog Union. Such a great bunch of people. So please go to analogunion.com. You can check out the old newsletters and just read them. You don't even
Yeah.
have to subscribe. And then if you like it and you want to get it in your email every week, it's free. So
Right. It's totally free.
yeah, so do that. And subscribe to us here too. Subscribe to us here on YouTube, and like and do all that business. And we appreciate it.
Yeah.
And if you're a Patreon member, we're going to be in the Discord after this, and you can come over for the after party and hang out and say hello.
Right. And you can always back our Patreon too. Lots of good stuff every month. I'm doing some good. Oh God, I was just finishing up some good ones now. I've only got like 3 days left to get these out. And so
Get to work, man.
yeah, I have been all weekend. I'm
You
getting
have
there.
been. I know you have.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Okay.
We'll see some of you in the Patreon after this.
All
I
right.
mean, in the Discord. That's what it's called.
That's
All
what's
right.
going
Have a good week.